Hey there, today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite tools for MCP organized play. And while there is plenty of things about it I love, there are some things that have just recently started to make me double think about all of the uses of the tool. My name is Nate, and welcome to the Gamers Guild. This is not the first time I have talked about Longshanks. I briefly mentioned it in a video about 5 of my favorite free tools that the MCP community has access to. And it is still very easily one of those top 5 tools. So what I'm going to do is dive a bit deeper into the features and tools as both an organizer and a player that makes Longshanks so appealing as a tournament software. And then hit on a couple of things that have recently dawned on me because I figured they were good enough thoughts to share with you. Longshanks at its core is a tournament organizing program or website that has a lot of cool features depending on what you are looking for. I'm going to start with the perspective of players, since by the nature of a tool like this, that's what most people are going to be using it for. And just going down the column on the left, first is the dashboard, where you can find information like your win-loss record as a whole, and if you look under your player profile, what awards and badges you have earned. As well, it gives you a place to easily check on the events you have participated in already, in case you want to go back and look at what missions or teams you have played with. Under that, on the left, you will find the Events tab, where you can find events. You can find them by when they are happening, or for a bit of a deeper search, you can use the Adjust Data filter to much more easily find an event closer to you. Also through here, you can check in on other events to either see how your friends are faring in an event you couldn't attend, or even just see what lists and affiliations are doing well if you wanted to check in on the meta. And speaking of a meta check, in the next tab is, well, full of statistics. Here it shows all of the accumulated data for all of the affiliation games, the win-loss ratios for the different affiliations, the most common crisis cards play, and other interesting stuff. Well, as long as you like numbers. One thing I personally really like about all of these breakdowns is you can also look further into each affiliation and see what leaderships individually have as records within that affiliation. The next tab then has the affiliation leaderboards that show off the highest rated players of each affiliation, which can also then be something to strive toward if you want to show off your mastery of a certain affiliation. Following that is an overall ranking board that places players ranked by their, well, overall rankings, and gives them a place to show off their record from the past year, as well as any badges they have earned during that time. Speaking of, there are 7 kinds of badges you can earn. The event champion badges are given to winners of any event that is large enough to be considered a championship event. There is then also the affiliation leader badge for whoever is currently doing the best with the affiliation in question. There are then awards for playing multiple games with the same affiliation, awards for getting in 5 games with multiple affiliations, win streak achievements, as well as awards for hosting a large event, and finally, logging 100 games if you somehow have time for that. From there, the tabs get a bit less interesting, but can help you better understand how the player rating is determined, which is all way over my head. Really, for the players, there are a lot of great resources here that similar websites like Tabletop.to and Challenge don't really have. Longshanks has the generic stats tracking and all that kind of stuff, but also all of the more fun things like earning badges and achievements if, again, that's something you're into. Another great benefit for the players is the ability to easily self-report instead of having to go to the TO, wait in the line, fill out a little sheet of paper to turn in, or any of those things combined. Being able to just go to the website and very quickly report your match, and then also whatever you report feeds back into all those additional statistics, which makes for a very clean circle of life. That's the general rundown for the players. For those that host their own events, though, there are a couple of pages worthy of looking at as to why Longshanks is a great resource. First is that this is all of the info you need to run your event. If you fill out this page and then give people the link, your job for the event is pretty much done, aside from a few button clicks every couple of hours. That's because once you kind of get into it, all you have to do is click load pairings, and then once you do a check over them to make sure everything makes sense for those pairings, you can send them out with a second click by adding the round. And that's it. Then there is also, of course, the double-sided perk of most all of the players being able to self-report. Now, the thumbnail does say something about the good and the bad and the cautionary. Well, before I get into the bad, I want to hit on one of the best aspects of Longshanks, regardless of whether you are a player or a organizer, and that is its creator, Red Sam. This guy has been incredibly open to feedback on so many different aspects of the website and has begun accommodating it for the uses that we have seen needed in MCP. Not to say there haven't been road bumps with things like ties and other stuff, but he has continued to make quality of life updates and added features like the ability to avoid repeat tables as much as possible so that players can see different boards over the course of an event, which is something I requested personally after hosting my first NashCon. So if you do end up using this program, donate something to the guy who is putting a lot of effort in to make this available to all of us. So what is the bad? I'm going to be honest. For me personally, there aren't any major flaws with the website that I have at the moment. I mean, you could argue that it could look a little bit more sleek and updated or something, but it also isn't something that I'm expecting out of a website that is free. It checks all of the boxes I'm looking for out of an event hosting platform. Maybe the sign-up process could be a little bit smoother, especially if you have one of the email hosts that has problems with the website. Really though, it's hard for me to nitpick on a service that is free. However, I have recently found myself in a situation that I didn't really expect. You may have noticed that among the things that I really like about Longshanks, I didn't list the player ranking board. I also didn't add it to the bad list because inherently a ranking board like that, while it isn't for me, I don't think it's a bad thing either because I know some people really do enjoy that grind. The bragging rights over friends, and so on. I also don't think that they are entirely accurate. I say this because I know at least 10 people who have and could consistently beat me in this game, as well as probably another 20 or 30 players that I'm not even aware of, and I'm currently ranked number 5. I will also say that I didn't really care about the rating or ranking system personally anyway. I had previously jumped around from the hundreds to the low 20s. Now though, I admittedly find myself in a bit of an awkward spot as Warfare Weekend is next weekend, and I had originally thought about rocking my new Hydragoon list with Strucker, which are admittedly untested against a lot of the more popular and powerful lists. And so now I'm wondering if I should just bring my tried and tested and tough Steve's Avengers list in an attempt to hold that highly ranked spot. Now, at the end of the day, I will play a list that I really enjoy because if you're locking yourself into playing with a list 4 or 5 times in a single day, man, I really hope you like your list. And being able to go out to an event and have fun is, in my opinion, by far and away the most important part, whether you win or lose. I guess what was bothering me is that Longshanks was a factor for me, even though I never thought it would. Now, I am all for earning some Avengers badges amongst some other achievements, and don't mind hunting those down. But I never thought that I would be influenced on what list to take based off of the sake of my rating. After having given this some thought and time, I'm fine with whatever I end up taking, and am super pumped to just go out and play some games in St. Louis and get some fried ravioli because that sounds like a fantastic weekend. So again, I don't think that the rating system needs to be done away with or that it needs to be taken too seriously either. Not good or bad. I just wanted to share my experience because I think that there can be a sneaky amount of influence that comes from standings and ranking stuff. And if it isn't really something you are wanting or expecting, all you need to do is notice it, and then set the goals for what you are wanting to experience and be about. If you are like me and want to have fun while playing a good, thought-out game of MCP, and that's the goal, more power to you. If your goal is to look at the meta and take the list you think can take you to the finals and climb those rankings, more power to you too. And to the delightful crew of people who want to take a list that has every single shield throw in the game and then see how far it can take you, most of the power to you, I guess. I don't know. Longshanks does also have the option for you to hide your own ranking and rating from the world if you so desire, and not all events are ranked. I know I have both hosted and participated in unranked events like 3-box challenge games and what if drafts. For the too long didn't watch summary, use Longshanks. It is an awesome tool with little to no serious fallbacks for a program that is free to our very niche hobby. But also be aware that ratings and rankings might have an impact on your enjoyment of the hobby, even if you never thought that they would. Identify it if so, and get to a point where you're going to go and have fun, because at the end of the day, that's the purpose of a hobby. Here at the end of the video, I want to give the usual shoutouts to the guild sponsors, Tritex Games and War Room Hobbies, which are both local gaming stores that host game nights, events, and all that stuff, as well as offer MCP miniatures at a nice bit of a discount. If you're shop from them, use the code TritexGGCP5 at checkout when shopping with Tritex. It'll save you an extra 5% off of your order, and the code MCP2022 will get you an extra 10% off of your order from War Room. So if you want to get your hands on the Brotherhood's reinforcements and are shopping online anyways, consider using these stores and discounts to help out in LGS. However, if you are already shopping from your local gaming store, do that. That's awesome. Keep supporting them. We understand and support that decision. But if you're still wanting a way to support the guild's videos or podcast, check out our Patreon page. It isn't anything too crazy, but it does give you access to the Guild Hall page Discord and helps us to continue on work new projects and content, all just for $1 a month. So a big thank you to all the members of the Guild Hall who are supporting what we do here. As always, if you've enjoyed my thoughts and are new to the channel, feel free to hit the subscribe button for a weekly dose of MCP content in the form of reviews and other MCP goodness. As well, you can also find the Gamer Guild podcast on several different podcast apps and platforms. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, keep on gaming.